It's been a month since I have owned this Model Y, and I have done about 1,500 kilometers on it, about 930 or 950 miles. And I want to share my experience so far with this car. I mean, yes, of course, there's like tons of things to like about the car, but let me start with the things that I don't like about this car. There are a few which I don't like, and I want to share it with you guys because, so if you're in the market to buy Tesla Model 3 or Model Y, this will give you some information, some things to consider. What are the things I don't like? Well, there are at least 10 things that I have made a note of that I don't like. Let me start with the first one. And I think this is really important because this could make or break your deal. And that is the ride quality. Now, it depends which car you're driving before and where you're coming from. A lot depends on that, obviously. Let's say if you're driving a German car with an adaptive suspension or an air suspension, and then you're switching to Model Y, you're not going to like it for sure. But if you're driving a Yaris, Toyota Yaris, or I don't know, a Camry, you will be okay. Even though you will notice that even on the 19-inch Model Y, the ride is not that refined, okay? You will feel the bumps. It is what it is, unfortunately. Tesla doesn't customize or tune the suspension for Australia. It's more like a universal settings that all the cars have. Second thing I don't like about this car is it doesn't come with the spare wheel. Well, in return, you're getting a lot of storage, no doubt, which I'll show you in a minute. But no spare wheel, it can be a bit troublesome. If you're just going to drive around city, no issues. But if you're going to do a lot of long trips, then something to consider. In saying that, you do get Tesla roadside assistance, so anytime you get a flat tire, you are covered. But I'm just thinking from the inconvenience point of view. The previous car, Santa Fe, I owned it for a year. It was a brand new car. And just like 6-7 months into it, I had a flat tire. So it wasn't that difficult because I called the roadside assistance. They came, they changed the tire, and that's it. But let's say if you have a flat tire in Tesla and if it is not fixable, what I mean by that is if the shoulder of the tire is impacted, then it's very hard to fix it and you may need to get the whole new tire, like a replacement. So it could be, you could get into an inconvenience. Yeah, just to keep in mind that it doesn't come with a spare wheel. Another thing that a lot of people complain, especially people who don't own a Tesla, and that is how it doesn't have a heads-up display, or it doesn't have the dial in the center. It's how you're going to look at the speed, how you're going to drive. It's just not practical until you start using Tesla Model 3 or Model Y. You're driving day to day, then you will realize that you don't need heads-up display as much. But still, I would say I'm just counting that as a negative, or I don't like, because maybe it's good to have. I understand they want to keep the design simple, so they don't want any clusters right in the middle, but heads-up display can be hidden nicely on the dash, and also it will just add few more information when you're driving. Yeah, so maybe Tesla in future, you can include a heads-up display. Not too much information, just the basic information like cruise control, autopilot, speed, and all those kind of things. The car costing more than 70,000 Australian dollars. So yeah, I think you would expect features like that. One more thing that I don't like is that every time you have a new person interacting with the car, like your friend, your family, whoever, right, your colleagues, you'll have to give them lessons. This is how you open the door. This is how you get into the car. This is where you don't touch when you want to open the door. So it's a bit a different experience, like from a driver point of view, right? I mean, for the other cars you buy in the market, you don't have to give lessons to the customer, your friends, or anyone who you know giving a ride. But especially with Tesla, yes, you do want to make sure that they handle it appropriately. Range is another thing that people consider when buying an EV, especially. And I can totally understand if you're driving an ICE car and you're switching to EV, that will be one of the top things to consider. In my experience, before I was driving Santa Fe, on a single tank, it was giving me more than 800 kilometers. And now, switching to EV, I was totally aware that Tesla is not going to even get me even half of that, even though it claims 455 kilometers or so on paper, estimated range. But we all know that's not the real world case scenario. In real world, I'm getting around 350 to 370, 80-ish if I'm doing mostly city or suburban driving. If you're going on a highway, let's say if you're going on 80, not 80, but let's say 100 kilometers an hour or so, then you are going to get about 320 kilometers, around that. So obviously the faster you go, the lower the range, and so on. After driving the car for a month, I don't think so it's necessary. I've driven 1,500 kilometers, but I have never gone less than 20-25% of the battery. And besides, you're charging at home. I haven't been to even Supercharger as well. There was no need for me to go to a fast charger. So what that tells me is that even though the range is less, it's not going to be a big problem unless you're driving every day like 300 kilometers and you need to fast charge the car. Otherwise, most of the people, they're not going to drive more than 100 kilometers a day. So you are totally fine. Every day you wake up and you will have your car fully charged. So it's not a big problem for 90% of people. But if you are in that 5-10%, then maybe this is something you really need to consider. And one of the reasons why Tesla doesn't give you like a massive battery pack is because the car is not going to be efficient. What's the point of having 1,000 kilometers of range if 90% of people are not going to use it? You're just charging. You're going to put the charge in waste. You're going to drive the battery all around with you. So it's just extra weight you are carrying in a car. So in a way, if you think about it, it does make sense why the car doesn't come with such a massive range. Now, after you spend like 70,000-80,000 on a Tesla Model Y, and then you realize that it doesn't even have a 360 surround view monitor. Now, I was so used to this feature in my old Santa Fe Highlander, and it was so, I used to love that feature because it made parking like such a breeze. Even though this car is not that big and it has really nice sensors and backup camera and all that, having 360 surround view, it will help a lot of people, especially if you are parking in a very tight space, or if you have a really tiny garage, or even if you have a big garage but you have a lot of stuff lying around just like me. If you have a 360 camera, I think it just gives you that extra peace of mind. Even though this car has 12 sensors, I still prefer to have 360, and I really hope that Tesla, with the future software updates, can bring that feature. Now, this car has a lot of space, front, back, first row, second row, everywhere, right? But the front space I don't use as much, And one of the reasons why I don't use that extra space is because it's not auto-frunk. As you remember, that earlier versions of Model 3 did not have the power boot, right, or trunk. And then it was a big inconvenience, like you're paying like such a buying an expensive car and you don't have that basic features. So yeah, I really don't like that it doesn't have auto frunk, because if you give the auto frunk, then at least I will be able to use the space. Like if you're doing a grocery, you should be able to open and close without even touching. The car doesn't come with the overhead handles. I don't know what you call, but you know what I'm talking about. A lot of car comes with the handles, right? I think pretty much every car. I've owned 4 cars by now, and every car I owned, it had that handle on all 4 sides for all the passengers. For many reasons, right? Some people, they just like to hang around when they're driving. Not the driver, I mean, if you are a passenger. And also, if you have any issues with your back, or maybe you are like 60, 70 years old and you just can't get out of the car that easily, then it just helps. That handle helps. No charger in the new cars. If you're still in line to get Tesla, or if you're going to place an order, well, then the new Model 3 and Model Y, at least here in Australia, they don't come with the mobile charger. So that means that you have to spend $500 and get the mobile charger if you're going to not install the wall connector. Now, the wall connector is not that expensive. It's like $750 to buy the wall connector, but then you have to spend about $500 to $700 for the installation, right? The electrician is going to charge at least that much to install the wall connector. In my experience, in this 1 month, I think for me and for a lot of people who are only going to drive, let's say on average 50 kilometers a day, a mobile charger is more than enough. You just plug it into your normal outlet from where you charge your iPhone or anything else. That's more than enough, because that's going to give you at least, right, 12 to 15 kilometers per hour, which is more than enough for me, even though I've done like 1500 kilometers and I never had to even think about going to Supercharger or any other charger. So normal home charger using the mobile connector is plenty. So I don't think so now I'm going to install the wall connector. I don't want to spend like $1,500 and install a wall connector, no. But before buying Tesla though, I was stressed about charging and installing it, and I did a lot of research on how much the electrician's going to charge and all that. But thankfully I didn't do it. See, this is what I'm talking about. People who don't have Tesla and who are about to get a Tesla, they do a lot of things. Maybe they buy things or maybe do a research. Well, wait. What I would suggest, use the car for a couple of months and see how you go, and then make a decision. Unless you are certain for sure that you're going to need a wall connector, yes, go and install it. But if you're not going to drive as much, if you're like me, driving about 50 kilometers a day on an average, then you will be fine. And the last thing I don't like is that this car doesn't come with the cooling seats. I feel that if you're spending like $70,000-$80,000 on a car, I think it should come with the cooling seats, ventilated seats at least. But there's another way to get around that problem. Let's say you have you have to park the car outside and it's 35 degrees, hot sunny day. What you can do is you can just use your app to turn on the AC, and that will cool everything down. But the reason why I don't like is because my other car had the ventilated seat, and only 2 to 3 times in a year when I had to use it, it was really convenient. So that's why it would be nice if Model Y had ventilated seats. What I like about the car? Well, the best thing about this car is the software, the UI, the 15-inch screen, and the things you can do with the 15-inch screen. That's the best part. The reason why this car is expensive, just in case you didn't realize, is not because of the hardware. It's not because of the car. There are not many moving parts in Tesla anyways. It's because of the software, and it's worth it. The UI is so amazing. It's so simple to use, and it's so responsive. It's like using an iPad or iPhone or any smartphone, basically what I'm trying to say. It is really crisp. It's very responsive, and that's the best part. And software updates. It's been a month since I've owned this car, and I've received 2 updates. And it's not like, just bug fixes. No, it's genuinely going to improve the car. This is what I like. You buy the car today, and after 6 months, the car is going to be better than what it was. I mean, isn't that amazing? Right? You buy $150,000 Mercedes, right? Whatever the class you want to buy, go and buy. And after 6 months, or even after a year or 2 years, the car is going to be same, no different. Like literally, there won't be any difference in the car. But Tesla, it just gets better, with time. And that's what I like. That's the number one thing I like about the car. And it's just going to keep that excitement alive. You're not gonna get bored of the car. I mean, yes, eventually you may end up getting bored, and you might get another Tesla or any other model, or maybe Cybertruck. But what I'm trying to say is that the new features keep coming, improvements, enhancement, and it just keeps your car new. You always feel that the car is new because of the enhancements, yes. And it really does make a difference. So that is the number one deciding factor, and I think you should consider it too. It's the most critical thing. You won't get that experience anywhere. Supercharger network is another critical thing that I considered when I was buying Tesla. Even though I don't intend to do any road trips, even if I do, I'll just do once or twice a year. But knowing that Supercharger got you covered, that's the best feeling. And that's why I decided to go with Tesla rather than going with any other car, any other EV like Kia or Hyundai. I think these are the other 2 options I had. But yeah, Supercharger does make a difference. If you want to go from here to Sydney or Gold Coast, you can be rest assured that you will have no issues going there. Yes, it's going to take some time, maybe a few hours to stop and recharge and all of that, but at least you can, that peace of mind that you have an ability, you can go anywhere you like, or most of the places you like, without having to worry about running out of charge. And the car does everything for you. So if you want to go to Sydney from here, from Melbourne, it will tell you how long it's going to take, what are the superchargers there you need to stop, how long it's going to take to charge your car, and tons of other information. So yes, Supercharger is, I think, one of the plus point, one of the advantage that Tesla has. The basic autopilot in this car is, I wouldn't say mind-blowing, because if I say mind-blowing, some people might think that I'm over-exaggerating it. But trust me, it makes a huge difference if you're driving a car on autopilot, especially if you're on a freeway, or if you're going long distance, or even if you're driving just in the city. And if the roads are well marked, the car can go on autopilot. It makes driving so much easier, especially in the traffic, bumper to bumper, or you really don't need to worry about braking or accelerating or anything. The car will just do everything by itself, and it's the best thing. Yes, it's underrated because you're getting it for free with the car, but it's really good feature to have. I think no other car today have their system or their cruise control or whatever you want to call it is as smart as Tesla. So 100% Autopilot, just the basic Autopilot is more than enough. And on top of that, right, you can buy, if you have money and if you're really willing to spend another $10,000 Australian dollars, then you can buy full self-driving feature. Now, that doesn't mean that the car will drive itself. It says very clearly that it just comes with few other additional features, full self-driving capabilities that you can use it, and you can go on Tesla website and find out or Google it. What are those full self-driving capabilities that you can have? What I'm trying to say is that you are paying money, no doubt. Yes, you are paying a lot of money, but you are getting next level shit. Yes, you're getting next level stuff. So it's worth it. If you have money, it's worth it. If you don't have money, it's not worth it. Obviously, the people always debate about this, whether it's worth it or not. It all depends on your financial situation. But in saying that, in my opinion, it's not worth it for me now. But once Tesla FSD beta is available here in Australia, even if it is $15,000, I wouldn't mind to pay $15,000 if I'll get to use the beta version. Because oh my god, you see what they've done with the FSD beta and the people who have enrolled to test that software so that they can give data to Tesla and they can improve and eventually launch FSD. It's mind-blowing. Now that is mind-blowing. A lot of people look at the Tesla screen and they think like, oh, that's so distracting. A 15-inch, what are you going to do on the 15-inch? Well, entertainment. Well, there's a lot you can do with the 15-inch screen. And Tesla knows how to do it, I'm telling you. It comes with Netflix, Disney, YouTube, web browser. I mean, it's like a laptop inside your car. It's fun. There's heaps of games, right? If you're into games, you can watch movies and stream videos and all that. A lot of people also object that, well, car is no place to do that. But well, think about it, right? 15 years ago, a phone was only used to make calls. Nobody thought that you can control a car with your phone. People would be thinking, you need a key to control your car. You don't need a phone. That's outrageous. Well, at that time, people didn't know the applications of what are the applications of the phone, right? It's hard to visualize or imagine that after 5 years or 10 years that technology is going to evolve and you'll be able to do way more than you originally intend or plan to do with this type of technology. The same thing is with the car. Right now, it already is equipped with so many cool features which utilize the real estate of this 15-inch massive screen, and trust me, it is a lot of fun watching inside the car movies, or imagine if you're going camping and you can Netflix and chill. You can watch YouTubes, and it's not just charging related. It's not that you have 15-inch screen and Netflix and all of that so that while you're charging you can entertain yourself. No, it's not just charging. Yes, of course, while you're charging you can do all of that, but apart from that also, you will realize once you own a Tesla that it's a lot of fun. And while we're on the same topic, the sound system of this car is it will take you to another place, another space. Once you listen to the sound system, you'll be like, whoa, I never heard this song in such a good clarity. I mean, I'm sorry guys, but I can't demonstrate that. it to you in the car, the only way is to experience it. So go for a test drive or ask someone who you know who owns a Tesla. Play the song you like and try listening on Tesla. I'm telling you, trust me, it's gonna blow your mind. The sound system is amazing. It's better than any car, right? Okay, I'm not an auto expert. I don't do reviews every single day, but I'm telling you, trust me, this is what I've experienced it and read everywhere online. I've seen everyone that people are crazy about the sound system. I was like, okay, maybe, okay. Until I listened to the sound system, I realized that why they're crazy. Because it's literally amazing. Yes. Crazy. And today we control everything using an app, right? Okay, let me put it another way. Not control it, but if you know what I mean. You work using your phone, you watch things on your phone, you do productive stuff on your phone, you do all sort of things on your phone. So why not control a lot, important features of your car using your phone? I mean, a lot of car companies do that. I mean, the premium brands, but they don't go as far as Tesla is going with what you can do with your car, right? You can not just lock and lock, but you can open the trunk. You can monitor the car, the cameras as well, the live view cameras. That's next level. You can, if you have FSD features, you can make the car come to you. You can control the climate. Oh, I use this pretty much every day. So every time I want to go, most of the time it's cold here in Melbourne, so I just turn on the heater. Heated seats, heated steering. So when I sit in the car is nice and hot. And before that, all right, what are my options? Well, I'll have to go manually turn on the car, adjust the temperature, and after 5 minutes the car is nice and warm. I can come and start driving. But not anymore. And I really love that ability to control a lot of things using your phone. I think that's really good. I love it. The car it's quite big in storage. I mean, it looks like a normal car, but it has way more storage than any normal car. Yeah, there is storage in the front where the engine should be. There's a storage at the back. There's a storage beneath the boot. Well, I don't know how to describe it. I'll show you. There's a storage on the side, like, again, we are still in the boot. There's massive storage underneath the front seats. There's a good storage in the center console. I mean, there's lots of places. I mean, you won't have any issue storing any of the stuff. So if you think that you're downsizing, which I was thinking, because Santa Fe, if you compare side by side, that car is bigger. Yes, the opening of the boot is also bigger, no doubt, but you can fit more stuff in this car because there are so many small areas throughout the car that gives you a lot of storage options. When I put my foot down, I'll leave everyone behind in the dust. It's amazing off the line. You literally feel the punch. Now, even though it is one of the slowest Teslas, because it's a standard range, but trust me, you're not going to feel that this is slow. This is really, really fast. I mean, for most of the time, you will be more than happy.
At Tesla, we don't make slow cars. Okay,
Or let me put it in this way: 90% of the time, right, whatever car you're coming from, this car is going to be better in terms of the performance. Every time I pass through a petrol station, and look at the price. Oh, it makes me feel so happy. Not long ago, I was spending like $120 or $130 for a tank. That's a lot of money, because my previous car was diesel, and diesel is a bit expensive nowadays. Even if it is a petrol car, right, you are going to spend a lot more. And you might be thinking, how much did I spend for 1,500 kilometers? Well, I have spent close to $60, and I'm charging home, and this is based on my electricity rate. I'm paying about 0.23 cents per kilovolt, and so far I have spent, and you can see how much you spend in your Tesla app. I've spent about $60 to drive 1,500 kilometers, and 87% is how much I have charged at home. About 13-15% I ended up charging in the destination charging area. Again, that's a free charging. If you go to a shopping or anywhere, if they have a destination charger, just plug it in. But to be honest, I don't think so I'll be lucky to get destination charger anymore, because there are just way too many Teslas, and I've tried in the last week or so to get free charging, but it was not possible, because every time I go, there's always Teslas there. So no more free charging. But still not bad, right? $65, let's say, even if you don't go and get the free charging for 1,500 kilometers. I think I easily saved about $200, $150 to $200 maybe. Okay, let me talk about the driving. It is so simple. It is, imagine that you don't have to think about it. Okay, let me just compare it, so maybe then you'll get an idea. So in any other ICE car, or let's say to my previous car, right, the driving was involved doing few things. Like, I'll get into the car, click on the start button, maybe turn on my heated seats, or turn on the auto hold feature so that the car holds when I'm stopping at the lights, and yeah, a few normal stuff, right? But this Tesla makes everything just so simple. Well, first of all, I don't have a key, so that's one less thing to worry about, like losing the key. All I need is my phone, and obviously no one loses their phone. It's like part of their body. So phone, if you have your phone in your pocket, you go to the car knows it's you, it unlocks, you get into the car, you don't need to turn on, the car is always on. Let me put it that way. You just put it, shift in drive, and you are ready to go. You don't need to do anything, and it's one pedal driving. That means most of the time you're not going to use the brakes at all, so you're just using one foot, right? And in terms of controlling the temperature and the heating seals and all of that, I'm already doing using my app, putting the thing on the navigation, address on the navigation. No, I don't do that either, because I just send the navigation or the address wherever I'm going through the app. So when I get in the car knows where I'm going. The car has the perfect temperature for me. All I need to do is put it in shift and go. That's it. It's the whole end-to-end experience is seamless. It's effortless. Effortless is the best way to describe. Like, there's nothing to think, nothing to worry. The car is there, ready to go. That's it. And now talk about the driving and handling. Well, you can Google it, you can see the reviews, and you will know all the technical details about how good this car is in the corners, and the body roll, and the driving dynamics, and all of that. I'm not going to tell or talk about any of that. From my experience, this is perfect. Apart from the firm ride, yes, no doubt, that's an issue. But you know what? The car drives wonderful. Like, very smooth, very confident on the road. I haven't taken the car on the race track, so I can't tell you how good this car is on the around the corners, but on the U-turns, driving circle and all of that, it's fine. It's very easy to drive, let me put it that way. The visibility up front is really good, better than any car, so that makes you confident as well, and makes driving much easier. And I think I should also point out that the rear visibility is not that great. It's actually terrible, but you know what, I've been used to it now in a month, and that's not a complaint anymore. But yeah, if you're switching from an SUV or any other car to this car, you will definitely feel that you will have some difficulties with the view at the back. So, but it's not a problem. You have amazing cameras. If you really having issues, you can turn on the backup camera while you're driving, and you will be fine. Now remember, I also mentioned earlier that I don't like that this car doesn't have a heads-up display. Once you get used to the screen and everything else, the way the car drives, and once you know how to drive this car in the most efficient manner or more effective manner, I think you will not miss heads-up display, because the car is pretty smart. So if you're on a cruise control or autopilot, you put the car like the car knows already what speed it's supposed to go, so you really don't have to do that much of thinking. You just put it on cruise or autopilot, and the car will automatically match the speed based on the speed signs. And you can do a bunch of other settings as well, the maximum speed and all those kind of things. So it's very smart. So you will never have to worry about seeing the speed up front, because you're not going to cross the limit, because the car is smart. Before I had a car, I went to the showroom, I looked at the display car and all that, and I felt that the second row was not that roomy. But after owning this car for about a month and asking people who regularly sit at the back, the space at the back is quite roomy. They have a lot of leg room. That's really good. The only downside is if you have a child seat, just like what I have,